What's up, guys? So today I want to talk about this crazy AI website that I just discovered today. So the way that it works is you can write some text in this box and you run the model and it's going to fill in the blanks. It's going to write something afterwards based on what you wrote before. So I have a few things here that I want to try out. One, I've got some HTML. I've got a Golang snippet to check a password. Got a snippet for a JavaScript function to validate an email, like something about some creatures in a swamp. This more romantic kind of story, like I've got this nonfiction statement about New York being a dense city, COVID-19 and stuff. So this AI should be able to take whatever I wrote and finish that. Let's try out this HTML and see what happens. So I'm going to paste that here and run the model. Okay, so we can see that it closed out our form for us. It added some sort of text thing here, but it added a submit button. So, I mean, that's cool. It kind of finished off our form for us. Cool. So let's try the next one. This is a check password function in Golang. So I expect that this is going to give us back some more Golang code. Who knows what it's going to do? Let's check it out. Okay, so just finished it up. So check password as some account password thing. Params, and it checks it, failed to check password. Okay, I mean, it basically kind of filled in the logic here. And we didn't give it any hint of how to actually check a password. Like, now let's try out with this JavaScript snippet. The fact that it has const and the fact that it has a fat arrow function, it should be able to detect that this is JavaScript. Okay, so yeah, it looks to be JavaScript. Return email.trim.length is greater than 0. The email should not include an @ sign. That part doesn't make sense. It filled in something interesting there. Then it added some other related logic that you would typically see. Now this is where it gets kind of fun because we're feeding it natural language and it's gonna basically continue the story for us. So when the creatures had arrived, we weren't sure if they were hostile or not. So we treaded carefully through the swamp, making sure not to make a sound. The overcast sky was threatening to rain, and it wasn't a very comfortable experience. We cautiously walked through the mud and rotten logs, trying not to make any noise. Suddenly, one of them reached out to me and grabbed my shoulder. I turned to face it, and it attacked, biting me so hard that blood started pouring out. But they were much faster and chased us down. Then they started to fly. The sounds of the creature's wings broke the silence of the swamp. I was sweating profusely and it was getting... So one thing I noticed is this bot loves to end on a cliffhanger. So yeah, this was pretty solid, right? I really think that if you're a writer who wants to write fictional content and you run into a block and you just don't know what to write next, this little tool, man. Like, where did you come up with that idea? All right, let's check out the next one. So this is more of a romantic type of thing. So a different vibe, and I'm hoping it can sort of riff from there and continue that positive vibe. So the town of Yorkshire had a small population, but made up for it in hospitality. She was an exemplary byproduct of that community. Her beautiful brown eyes radiated with the innocence and grace that could only be preserved through a humble upbringing. But that still wasn't enough to explain her beauty, which is why she was in the top 5 of the Miss Universe contestants. "I'm so excited," she said. "I'm so excited that I'm representing the United States at the Miss Universe pageant." "Yay," her boyfriend cried. I know, I'm so excited that I'm representing the United States at the Miss Universe pageant," she repeated. When the boyfriend noticed that she was repeating herself, he said, I know, I'm so excited that you are representing the United States at the Miss Universe pageant." Her mother looked at her in awe. "Isn't that great?" she said. The girlfriend's response was lost in a laugh. "I'm so excited that I'm representing the United States at the Miss Universe pageant." Oh my God. Okay, so it just keeps repeating herself. This is really weird. How like the boyfriend noticed it got it. At first I thought it was okay. Like, okay, the boyfriend noticed she was repeating herself. I thought it was gonna get kind of creepy from there. Like, oh wait, she might be a robot or something, but then it just kept doing the same thing. The mother looked at her daughter and thought in a gaze and then said, I know. And now the mother said it. So this story actually works, but in a much creepier way than I originally thought. Thought this was going to be a nice, happy story. What I really think this AI is trained with a data set based on online content. And a lot of the short stories and stuff that you'll see online are from Reddit, from those creepypastas and stuff like that. So I imagine this is like so heavily influenced by Reddit content. So here's another snippet. This is more of a non-fiction snippet, so I hope that it kind of stays realistic in this case. So the state of New York is one of the most dense cities in the United States. With the outbreak of COVID-19, the city's thriving economy came to a screeching halt. Along with the rest of the world, New Yorkers have been forced to practice social distancing. As New York faced this unprecedented crisis, one thing became clear: the need for a strong and efficient emergency response program. With a population of nearly 8.5 million people, it would be impossible for the city to independently respond to the COVID-19 outbreak. In order to mitigate the spread of the virus, the state government passed emergency legislation that allowed the state to assume control of the state's primary COVID-19 response, including testing and hospitality. So yeah, this is like ridiculously specific. You know, a lot of this is just memorization, but a lot of it is improvisation too. So yeah, that's pretty solid. So I don't want to end on that note. Let's end on something a little more fun. Little did he know that the secret to eternal life was in his pocket all along. Let's see what happens here. On a typical summer day, Dr. George Adams, a successful pediatrician in New York City, was checking his schedule when he saw an urgent message on his computer, called to discuss urgent matter. Adams knew that once in a while a patient's problems would require a little extra attention, but the message also said that the patient had a special request. We have an ailing child in Harlem. Please see him. There are times when our own problems overwhelm us and we may feel like our family needs extra help. Yet there are other times when we feel that the need is brought to us and we're drawn to respond. Okay. Yeah, so this is not at all... So you know what it is, to be fair, I gave it one line of context. So I just updated the statement to add a little more context and see if the AI will come up with a better story. So little did he know that the secret to eternal life was in his pocket all along. The doctors had performed endless test trials on mice, but ruthless investors wanted to push the product to production. So the scientists had now began testing the drug with human patients. The results were astonishing. The patients were immune from disease, yet remained perfectly healthy. A senior research scientist stated that the drug was unlike any drug in existence. The compound was found to have no negative effects on the body. The drug reacted with the body as if it were a friend. The scientist continued, "We have known about it for many years, but the company that owns it is not interested in money. They want to make the world a better place. The company was named Eternal Life Inc., and the drug had been given the name Salvation. The FDA had no interest in reviewing the drug, and the FDA had no interest in approving the drug. The FDA was so impressed by the results from the first test trials that they had contracted with Eternal Life Inc. to conduct more trials. The drug company was granted permission to conduct more trials to determine the long-term effects of salvation. The drug was given the name Immortality, and the drug was ready to be tested on humans. When the time came for the FDA to perform the final test trials on the Salvation Immortality drug, most of the subjects did not live for the length of the trial." Now that was a heck of a... Okay, so that was a heck of a story right there. And once again, it kind of ended on a cliffhanger, like, wait, I thought this was a immortality thing, but... So it does this thing where it frequently just ends on a cliffhanger, on like a transitionary note, which is interesting. I imagine by tweaking these values up here, I can probably get different results. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, this thing is crazy. So you can actually log into this website and try it out right now. You don't have to write any code or download anything. Just first like and subscribe, then go to the description below, click that link, and it's gonna take you directly to this webpage. This thing is really interesting. So yeah, I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, support a little YouTuber like myself, and catch you on the next one.